My name's Janet Rooney. I'm the undergraduate programme leader for the BSc Honours Physiotherapy, presently located at Elizabeth Gaskell. My students are on a vocational programme of study. It will entitle them to apply to the Health and Care Professions Council for registration as a physiotherapist, and the Health and Care Professions Council have very particular standards relating to the role of the professional in self-evaluation and self-development. The students that you filmed were first year students, are fairly new to the programme, but it's important that we start to inculcate those skills into those students from the earliest moment. I also have a very strong belief that for the most part people know when things have gone well, and sometimes when things go well we go away with a smug feeling knowing that that went well but fail to do any analysis, so the next time that it happens in a good way again is another happy accident. So if you can help a student to reflect on their successes, then those strategies are repeatable strategies. They can do the same things again, they can be successful again. Equally, if you help a student, not necessarily help a student to recognise when things haven't gone so well, though sometimes that's important. Lots of students know when it hasn't gone well. And rather than sitting there and telling them what they already know, giving them an opportunity in a safe environment to talk about what didn't go well and to find out what their plans might be to make that right in the future. It's a good model for now, and it's a good model for their future as well. Always important to introduce a session so that students know what you're going to do, why you're going to do it, and what the outcome is. And my intentions during that session were several-fold, in that we wanted to review some material as a formative activity for a forthcoming summative thing, but actually there's always subtext. There's always something else that you can bring to the party, for want of an expression. And the subtext for me within the context of that session was the ability to help people to understand the huge value of feedback. But also the importance in terms of the way it's delivered to an individual, because if we hear something about ourselves that is unsavoury, then sometimes that needs to be said, but actually it can be made more palatable, and the more palatable that it is made, the more likely an individual is to willingly hear that feedback, take it on board, do something useful with it. So if they are going to offer a piece of feedback, I ask them to listen to what you're going to say to somebody else before you say it to somebody else, so that you know that that's going to be an acceptable thing for another person to hear about their own performance. It's much more important to provide feedback in a way that the individual values it and will therefore do something useful with it, not because you tell them that they ought to, but because they know that it is right to, because they have reached that opinion by themselves. The other thing that I think is important is if I provide feedback and all I do is notice what wasn't right, then the message that I think that sends is that I have no capacity for recognising what is right. So again, to help my students to understand that the value of recognising quality and remarking upon it gives us the right to recognise that which does not yet have quality, so that we can begin to improve. Listening is the single most important thing that you can do to any student ever, and that's not just listening to students who you come across who are in distress. Listening is the most important thing that you can do when you've got a student who's annoyed or angry for some reason, or just hearing what it is that they have to say. Knowing what their ideal outcome is and bridging the gap, helping them to bridge the gap between them. I'm not a doer, I don't do it for them. I'm arguably an enabler in that I help them to know how to do it themselves, and then I bask in their reflected glory there afterwards. So that's very satisfying.
Well, in terms of our teaching, our lecturers seem to just engage you more than others. I don't really know, I can't put my finger on it, but she gives you anecdotes and examples and puts things into context in a really simple way, so it's easy to understand and you don't find yourself drifting off.
I think Janet is a great personal tutor because her door is always open to you. I've never gone in and felt like I've had to ask Janet a question and felt like she was too busy for me. She's always made time for me and other students as well.
She's always there for help. You know, you can about anything, uni work, personal things, anything. She's always available to come with me, email, anything. And that's why she's such a valuable member of the team.
You can find more films and podcasts on our website. Go to celt.mmu.ac.uk/good practice. Thanks for watching.